Hey guys, I'm Dr. Mcfarland, and in this video, I'm going to show you my new favorite overdrive. So what I have here in front of me is the Headrush core, and if you're new here to the channel, I do all videos on modeling units, Headrush, Toemaster Pro, Kemper, all the things. I also make videos on recording and tutorials on lots of other products in the market. So if you're interested in learning more and diving in deeper, then go ahead and subscribe down below and click the bell for future notifications. So what I have here in front of me is a Dock Basic 100 ambient. That's just what I called it at the time. But the main gist of it is the new Glorious drive that was added by Headrush in the 3.2 update for the core and the prime, and the 2.7 update for the pedalboard, gigboard, and MX5. That's a lot to remember. So what I like about it is I'm really played about 5 hours last night, switching guitars, switching amp options, switching pedal options. And once I cranked the drive all the way up on the pedal and then kind of level matched things and set the tone how I wanted, I was like, wow, this has a nice, thick, mid-rangey, Marshall-y kind of overdrive that just sounds really, really good. And then especially when I paired that with the Tube Screamer option that they have here on the Headrush core, I was like, that's just a sick tone. It sounds amazing, and I just couldn't stop playing for hours. So I do have a few other things going on in this rig, but I'll go ahead and turn those off, and we'll start from scratch. And I basically chose a 72 Basic 100 guitar, which is the 72 Silverface Bassman, which comes from the Revolver editions that they added on the core, which is a lot of cool options in there. And then I do have a double cab with a 2x12 B30, one with the Dyne 409 on it, and the other with the R121. So basically just a dynamic and a ribbon option. And just to sprinkle in a few other things, I have a Dyne delay, a reverb, and a tremolo. So I can mess with all those things later in a separate video. But for now, the main gist is this Glorious drive is really, really good. So here's the clean tone of just the basic guitar sound. This is what Kiesel calls a thorium pickup, and this is the Crescent model with black limba, walnut, maple, all the crazy stuff. So it's a pretty sweet guitar. I like it, and I also like using fast fret to clean the strings and keep everything nice and smooth. So clean tone on the bridge pickup. And here it is on the neck. That is what Kiesel calls their Imperium model, and it just sounds really good. So back to the bridge where we like to live for our main overdrive sound, and we'll turn on the Glorious drive, which does have the drive all the way up. Now, I'm actually monitoring myself, or the guitar, through the Fender FR12 back here behind me in the room, and it just smokes. It sounds so good. You are also hearing the XLR out of the Headrush core into my audio interface, and I'll do some A/B back and forth a little bit later in the video, but for now, just that's what you're hearing. So I'm hearing something different in the room. You're probably hearing whatever is being recorded. Now, the overdrive I had before the Glorious drive is the greener overdrive, and that is just a variation of the JRC overdrive, what Headrush calls a Tube Screamer, and kick that in. Now we add more mids, we kind of roll off some lows, push more volume. It just sounds great. And that's why I couldn't stop playing for 5 hours. It was just every guitar I chose, every option was just amazing. It sounded so good. So here's a little bit of delay. This is from the Dying Delay, and I have a little bit of mix in there. The ratio's down by negative 51% or 50%, and we get this kind of sound from it. So a very ping-pongy, gallopy, quarter note with a dotted eighth kind of feel to it, and it just sounds really good. Ooh, there's a lot of richness going on in there. It's about as rich as a chocolate cake, if you ask me. Another little detail that I added in, I was really interested in the Mesa Boogie style EQ that comes on the Mark Series amps. And the frequencies for those, if I can remember correctly, is 80 hertz, 220, 750, 2200, and then 6600 or something like that. 6000, whatever it was. And so I tried to recreate those frequencies on the Auto Q 8-band EQ. And I chose this one just because I had plenty of bands to work with. And those specific frequencies were not available on the new 10-band EQ that was added in the recent update as well. So I am showing off the Auto Q 8-band, but if you want to experiment with the 10-band EQ that was just added, that is probably a good option, okay? All right, so here's the sound that we have currently. And my goal here was to try to take some of that Marshall-y mid-range out and make it sound more like a Mesa Boogie by scooping out that 750 hertz range. So this is the sound now. Okay, so you can see that the low mid frequency is 750, and I have to go to the next page. I am cutting that by negative 4 dB or by 4 dB. And I have the high frequencies at 6600, and that's about a 1 dB boost. I have the high mids at 2200, and that's also being cut slightly by 1 dB. You can experiment with that and bring it down a little bit farther, maybe 2.5 dB. Boost it and get a really nice bright sound out of it. So let's see what happens if we boost it by 2 dB. Okay, let's cut the let's turn off the EQ. Gone. Okay, so a little tip here, when you're boosting EQ, you probably want to compensate with that by turning down the gain if your EQ has a gain option, and thankfully this one does. So let's just boost it by 1 dB instead of 3 dB, see what that does. So here is the EQ off. Okay, so not really a volume boost, but we are getting some extra highs in there, which, I don't have to keep. So let's go ahead and cut that back down to 1. And then we'll boost the makeup gain back up to like 3. Okay, so back off. So it's very, very subtle, but it gently carves out that 750 range and a little bit of 2, a little bit of low 2s. And then just for fun, I added in the Dyne Comp, which is just a master compressor after everything, just kind of sculpting the thresholds a little bit and shaping the curves. And I do have the ratio of 4:1. The knee is a little high. The threshold is about negative 18, but just use your ears. I really wish Headrush would add a gain reduction meter on this screen. It would be pretty helpful to see how much gain reduction you're getting. But just like I said, just use your ear. So here it is with it out. And then here it is with it on. Yeah, so nothing too crazy, but we're just getting a nice little compression there. And if I turn off the pedal again and just go back to my clean tone, it also adds a little bit of smoothness overall to the clean tone. So here's the neck pickup again. Okay. Now for one more experiment, the Glorious Drive is pretty glorious, but there's other pedals in here that sound just as good. So let's go test out the Proco Rat or the Black Death, something. Yeah, the Black Death, which is a revolver option of the Proco Rat. This is what this sounds like. Okay, I like that one. We'll turn it off. Let's bring in the Anxiety Overdrive. That one has some low end going on with it. Let's bring the tone up. And yeah. Okay, I like that one a lot as well. But one more, let's go find the Sheriff. And this is a good Marshall-y, Marshall in a box type tone. We'll crank the gain all the way up. Maybe cut the bass a little bit and bring down the level. Yeah, so the Glorious Drive is glorious, but the Sheriff also sounds good. The Anxiety Overdrive sounds good. A Proco Rat sounds good. It really just depends on what you're going for. So experiment with these settings and see what you think, and let me know what you've done in the comments. And that's pretty much all for this video. So thanks guys for watching. I have a whole Headrush bundle available on my website. You can download rigs. You can get behind the scenes tutorials on dialing in every single amp, cab, microphone, and effect on the Headrush units, as well as Headrush clones, and a lot of other things coming in the very near future. So subscribe down below, click the bell, check the links in the description, and I'm Dr. Mcfarland. I'll see you in the next video.